But finally, we're going to jump over to Minneapolis. Now, this is interesting because this is a hybrid mix of a gray and a black Psyop. But, this is one of those things that they use perfectly. And this is called Operation Metro Surge. That's the coined operation that the Trump administration is using to coin the ICE use in all these metro cities. Now, what's interesting is, we showed last week the shooting of Renee Good. And instantly, and this is why this is a perfect epitome of Entrid use, instantly you saw the wedge tactic. You saw all these media posts split. Either ICE are heroes, ICE are protecting America, and you're siding with ICE, and this was a justified killing. Or you're saying ICE are executioners. There was no middle ground, nothing. Instantly, you have to choose a side.
It's funny. I actually got a lot of feeds with cops shooting people after that. And you can tell it was clearly justified. Like the people were trying to run over cops and the cops had to shoot them. And I thought it was awfully coincidental. Because I'm sure I wasn't the only one getting these feeds, because I've never seen, in my feed, I've never seen that lady getting run over by the ICE, or not lady, the lady getting shot by the ICE people. I never saw it until you pulled it up last week. But I still never saw it afterwards. But then I started getting flooded with all these videos of police shooting at people who are women who are trying to run over them. And you could tell, like, the women were in the wrong in these scenarios. So the police were just trying to protect themselves.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting. It was like, why all this flood of information?
Right. And who's controlling TikTok now? Mr. Ellison, Trump's buddy, Oracle. And so who do you think's flooding the narrative? So, of course, when you watch Justified Killings, your unconscious mind is saying, well, government, police, whoever, they got to do what they got to do. And who am I to say that this wasn't a justified killing? So it forces you to go on a side. But regardless, there has to be a dichotomy, a wedge, or it doesn't work. So they have to create all these fake bots. Now, I'm not saying all these people, but they're being, influencers being bought into propaganda. So first, the government can use Intrepid to create all these sock puppet accounts on X or True Social or TikTok and post out all these false narratives. And then influencers listen to that, choose a side, and then they make their videos amplifying these sock puppet accounts. And now we have the wedge. And then you get TikTok or social media who are controlled by the government narratives to push out the justification of one side. Like you get these feeds. Now you're like, okay, well, that makes sense. And now it convinces you that this is the right side. It's a perfect psyop.
And then you get people like this.
It wasn't me. Believe it or not, I didn't start it this time.
Call the cops!
Come on, a little louder. Starting to enjoy it. Louder, louder.
Please call the cops!
What are you on, man?
Please call them!
Go on, hit a mess. Go on.
My eggs are good.
If you were so scared, you'd be
I didn't even
running.
take a bite of my sandwich yet.
Call the cops!
Jesus
I don't want
Christ.
the manager
No.
to assault
Call
me
API,
anymore.
someone. Get the mental institution over here.
What's wrong with you people?
What's wrong with you?
Why are you recording this instead of calling
Because
the
you're
police?
nuts, that's why.
I'm not. Don't fucking touch me! Don't fucking touch me! Don't fucking touch me! Don't fucking touch me!
No one's going near you.
Don't touch me!
There's an exit
Don't
right there.
touch me!
Go with Christina.
Don't touch
Go
me!
with
Thank
Christina
you.
right now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Don't touch
Hey,
me.
Tristan,
Don't touch me.
Tristan, stay 10 feet away from her.
Don't look at her! Don't look at her!
Don't look at her. Don't look at her.
Hey, y'all are antagonizing her.
Oh, all right.
That you know who she voted for, and you know who these people voted for. Isn't that just weird how in any situation like this, and the government knows this too. The government knows, like, yeah, our people will be marked like this. Well, you can clearly see who voted for who.
And, it plays on like a double psyop. You choose a side, and now let's hyperbolicize something. The adage is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's common logic. But what happens is we say it with our mouth, but we do it anyway. We throw it all out. So you start cannibalizing. You start eating your own. So if you support conservative movements, the opposition, which all could be created by these sock puppet accounts by Intrepid, like the government. But so you support this, and then they'll create to force the dichotomy. to even nudge you more this way. Even within their camp, they'll create divisions. And then eventually you're slowly moving this way, even though you're inside your camp. And in a liberal camp, it's the same way. And so it's interesting. You support all this, and then you see this, something like this, and you're like, I don't know if I support that. So, but are you going to not be a liberal anymore? No. So, but now you're in this weird divide.
Well, that one ex-CIA guy, I think his name is Chase Hughes or Hudges or whatever his name is. I'm sure a lot of people have been seeing him around. He's been going pretty viral. He actually says that, yeah, the government does this stuff. Like, he can attest to all this stuff. It's not even a secret anymore. The psyops are everywhere. And he actually says one of the most successful ones is the public school system to train people to be good factory workers and stuff. So he affirms all that. Now, maybe he himself is a psyop, and I tend to think that he himself is here to tell us about psyops. Well, and maybe they'll give us some real psyops, but then plant other psyops in our heads too, because we can trust him. You know, he's CIA,
Of course.
which is ironic in itself. Anyway, he says that, you know, the social media purposefully gives people who vote one way. It gives them the dumbest opponents on social media. So you'll see stuff like that, like what I just showed, for those people who voted opposite of you, and vice versa. Both sides are affected this way. You're only seeing the worst of your opponent. You're not seeing the smart ones. So I will say there is that. It seems like the Karens who get upset at McDonald's because they forgot their pickles on their sandwich or something, those are probably Republicans. And the ones who are, you know, always the victim, they have a mask on and they're so scared they can't move. Those are, it seems like the opposite, the liberals. It seems like there's Karens on both sides. The ones that are very aggressive Karens that are not wearing masks, they're in your face, they're going to throw hands. Those are the ones who voted for Trump. And it shows, you know, in what he does. Even if he's not actually taking over anything, he gives this illusion that he's playing this game of Risk. So the people that vote for him have that same mentality. Like, yes, I'm going to throw hands if you don't give me my sausage McMuffin right now. But then you have the other side who are the victims of the Risk game. They're just laying down and taking it. Like, oh, I'm being taken over. And those are the people who voted the other way.
Right.
For someone like Joseph. Now, I'm not talking about Arimathea.
Mm. Well, you know, the thing that connects them both is entitlement. Mm-hmm. Without the idea of you being entitled something, there's no way the rhetoric can be convincing. So the aggressive Karen feels entitled, like, you are supposed to put my pickles on there. How dare you not? And so they feel justified in that entitlement. And then the victim says, I'm entitled to being isolated. Who are you to invade my individuality? And because you're invading what I'm entitled to. So the government, because they focus on individuality and freedom, both sides, the word freedom really means, in a psyop lens, entitlement. That's all it means, if you ever get that. The reason why they say freedom is because they want you to believe you're entitled to something, which then justifies your anger. Doesn't matter. And then the government plays on your anger. And then they force the fear of it being taken. And all they got to do is first make you believe you're entitled and then create a false flag to say it's going to get taken away. Now you're afraid. And that's the perfect psyop. So that's how it all works. But you're right, on both sides of the coin, because they both think they're entitled.
I just think it's crazy that the psyops are so well done. Mm-hmm. Bravo. They're so well done that you don't even have to ask. You could probably, the predictive rate on this is probably off the charts. Nothing's 100, but you're probably going to get something like 99% of the time you ask one of those Karens, the ones that are aggressive, you know who they voted for. They're always going to be wearing those red MAGA hats. But without that, it's like, tell me you voted for Trump without telling me you voted for Trump. That's going to be those aggressive Karens who are throwing hands at McDonald's employees. Or tell me you voted for Biden without telling me you voted, and you're going to see the people wearing masks and they're scared of everything. They're just like little puppies scared. They're scared to do anything because they're the ones being invaded. It is very interesting.
Right, and those are the radical extremes, but usually the radical ones are the ones that are publicized and goes viral. When you feel like you're a common person, there's nothing controversial, but it's the radical ones. And then they make the psyops, they make the radical ones make you feel like all of you are these people, aren't you? And then us normal people say, no, we're not like that. But they force you to choose the side. And now you're stuck because you're like, I'm not like that, or I'm not like that. But you're going to have to choose a side because now you have to deal with identity politics. Are you conservative? Mm-hmm. Are you a liberal? But they force that narrative. That doesn't mean you're liberal or conservative. But if you don't, because these identity markers, like I'm a Republican or I'm MAGA or I'm support, Biden or whoever, and I'm a liberal, you don't have a choice. You deny one, you deny it all. It's a zero-sum game, and that's the perfect play on the psyop. But
ironically, I was going to add to this. We could probably take this one step even further because people like to talk about NPCs too. Like, how do you know if you're an NPC or not? I would say probably the NPCs are the ones who feel like they're the victims all the time. And it's something that helped me see this, and the victims would be the ones who voted that specific way, that victimhood. And then the aggressors are the first-person players who are assaulting the NPCs. This might put some things into perspective. I'm going to play a couple of videos from GTA, Grand Theft Auto, as somebody put us in the shoes of the NPC, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
Man, I'm sorry.
Can I help you? Can I help you?
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, imagine it's like willingly accepting that you are the NPC and you're the victim, and you have all these real players out here always victimizing you. That's what you have to believe. And it's even more interesting. It's like, man, if you could actually just be an NPC in GTA, I wonder, and it made me think even one step deeper, like, I wonder if people who play GTA voted one way. And people, because there's no option to play as an NPC, that'd be impossible. You'd just be
Well, it probably determines on what do you do when you're playing.
Well, I think the whole point of the GTA game is to dominate. Like, you just take what you want, you do what you want.
Well, some people,
like, you may see Greenland over there on the map. You're just going to go take it.
Well, some people just like to challenge the game. Like, maybe, and I've seen many clips where they see how fast they can go and how far they can send the guy out of the car. Like, they'll drive like 1,000 miles an hour, and this guy will fly all the way to New York City or something. Some people are just doing that kind of stuff too.
And all the cars and people they smashed on the way just to see how fast they can go. It's like they're just dominating whatever. It's like, it's my world. I just take and do what I want. I'm going to take your car to see how fast I can go. So they take the NPC's car and just do what they want.
And, maybe that's why there's different kinds of free roaming games. Like there's Skyrim and other things. And there's ways you interact with people. And maybe you're just into the interaction. I guess that's all the psychological play because you want to get the maximum amount of people playing. So it's got to be kind of diverse.
Yeah, like, I have a hard time believing that lady that was screaming with that mask on, which I don't know how she's able to breathe, but all that, I have a hard time believing that she plays GTA when she gets home.
She's probably not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, now, if she did play, she'd probably be an NPC in there. And it just fits too perfectly. But I don't know.
Well, it is the fog of war. It's this illusion, creating total chaos in American cities, just like like you're saying with these free, first person role games, these NPC kind of games, is you have this idea of this calmness, but then there's chaos in the midst. And when you're watching these narratives, like when you see like what happened in Minneapolis and stuff, you see these American cities, they're all living their life, especially like Minnesota, like what's going on in Minnesota. But now it's on the mark. It's everywhere. It's blasted. And you see, and it almost, I guess when you think about it, it does kind of feel like, GTA kind of stuff. Everybody's just walking around living their life. And then all of a sudden you get this invasion of people. And then this person just comes up and now they shoot this person dies. And now you are left with who's going to side on what. But nobody's really, the people who are arguing, I mean, some of them, I'm sure a lot of them are probably Minnesotians, but there's a lot of people, the rest of the United States, we're just observers, and now we're having to choose the side of, do we justify the surge of all these federal troops?
Yeah, well, some people are going to hate the players, and some people are going to hate the game. I'm saying, why don't we just not do either?
But you don't have a choice. That's the point of the Psyop, that WED tactic. They force you to by playing the tactics, and then they create this zone of exception where local laws don't apply. It's the same thing like when you're playing a video game, right? The idea is laws don't apply. If laws actually applied, like if you broke the law, the game actually stopped and there's a screen that says, no, that's illegal, you can't do that. Nobody would play the game. It was like, oh, this is like real life. This is stupid.
The cops come after them in that
right,
game. But
they can run, they can shoot, they can do whatever. The idea of this game is that we're creating zones of exceptions. It's almost like brainwashing you to the idea that laws don't apply here. And it's the same thing. So when you see the shooting, you have to think, what are they trying to imply? So like J.D. Vance comes out and says, when federal agents are doing their jobs, they have immunity.
The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity.
They just do what they do. What they're implying is this is a zone of exceptions where local laws don't apply. We're going to do whatever we want. And now you're left like this is a real game. Like they're just out there playing GTA. And everybody else is forced to be an NPC because you can't do anything. What are you going to do? You're going to fight back? You're going to get slapped with an axe. It's like it doesn't matter. So it's like they're forcing that narrative that we are creating these zones of exceptions. And people don't realize that as you're busy fighting on Twitter and X and TikTok and debating, not with real people, remember, these are sock puppets. You're debating bots created by the government. The precedent is being set to say we don't need to follow local laws. So you're over here arguing on the internet while they're actually breaking the law. And it doesn't matter. And this is the perfect psyop. And so it continues on.